Well, for the last few years, Prince Harry and Prince William's relationship has been, as we know, seriously strained.
King and Harry's relationship has been incredibly fractured, hasn't it, over the last few years?
There is no indication whatsoever that his position has changed.
Prince William just dropped a bombshell about Queen Camilla that could rock the royal family to its core. Camilla grew up far from royalty, with a dad who sold wine and a mom from a line of architects. Her ordinary life shifted dramatically when she met Charles, setting off a chain of events that would forever alter the royal landscape. What does Prince William's explosive decision mean for their future? Join us as we investigate strange drama in the royal family. The tragic bonds of royalty. Bruce Shand was a wine merchant and a former army officer, while Camilla's mother, Rosalind Cubitt, came from a family known for their work in architecture, though they were not part of the nobility. Her childhood was pretty normal. She went to school and spent time with her family. But her life changed when she met Charles, who would later become king. Their connection was immediate, leading to a relationship that would eventually be a big part of the royal family's story. At a royal ball, Camilla received a mysterious note that read, "The crown is not always worn by the rightful heir." Her relationship with Prince William has been complicated, mostly because of her long-standing romance with him, even while he was married to Princess Diana. This affair caused tension between her and Diana's sons, William and Harry. They were very close to their mother, and it was tough for them to accept her when she married their father in 2005. This marriage was a major moment for the royal family, changing many relationships and how the family worked together. At first, it was clear that Prince William and she didn't get along well. The media and royal experts often talked about the distance between them, but over time, things have slowly changed. In recent years, Prince William has started to shift his feelings toward her, going from being distant to more accepting. One reason for this change is Kate Middleton, his wife, who has always been warm and respectful toward her. Kate's friendly relationship with her has helped ease some of the tension. It's also made Prince William more comfortable with his stepmother. Plus, the royal family has gone through a lot of challenges, like health problems and public scandals, which have made the family either come closer together or at least help to smooth over some old conflicts. Through it all, she has been a steady presence, always supporting him. This hasn't gone unnoticed by Prince William, but things aren't completely perfect. Prince William and she still face some challenges. It's hard to forget the past, especially when it comes to Diana. Prince William has made a few choices recently, like decisions about her sister, Annabelle Elliott, that show there are still some unresolved issues. These choices have sparked a lot of conversation among royal watchers, who think the relationship between them is still complicated. And that's not the only thing making things tricky. Their public roles and her past still have an impact on how things stand between them today. For example, some of his recent actions and comments show that, while he's more accepting of her, he's still a bit cautious. So, while the royal family tries to show a united front, the relationship between Prince William and her is still a bit complex. Their bond is shaped by personal history, some of which is still very public. And as they move forward, many will keep watching to see if they fully reconcile or if there are still some lingering issues. Although they were well off, they were not considered true aristocrats. When she began her relationship with him, this modest background caused some skepticism from the public and also played a role in shaping her relationship with him. Unlike many of her peers who went on to university, she chose a different route, working as a secretary for various businesses in London's lively West End. They quickly discovered they had much in common, from outdoor activities and a love of reading to a similar sense of humor, which only strengthened their connection. However, the timing was not ideal for a serious relationship. He was about to start his career in the Navy, which meant he would be away for long periods. Additionally, the royal family did not see her as a suitable match for the future king because of her background and her history, which they found unconventional. While he was away on a naval assignment in 1973, she married Andrew Parker Bowles, a match that was considered socially acceptable. This marriage, however, was more about fitting into their social circle than love. He, who still had strong feelings for her, was deeply affected by this. Despite her marriage, he remained close to both her and Andrew, even becoming the godfather to their son Tom in 1974. the 70s brought changes that challenged their lives. The other woman's tale. During the 70s, she balanced her friendship with him and her responsibilities to her family with Andrew. She and Andrew had 2 children, Tom and Laura, but their marriage was not a happy one. Both had affairs, which became widely known among their social circle. As the 80s approached, there was growing pressure on him to find a suitable wife. By 1980, he began courting Lady Diana Spencer. Interestingly, she seemed to support this relationship, perhaps seeing Diana as young and unlikely to threaten her deep bond with him. She even attended his and Diana's wedding in 1981, showing that her connection with him had not been completely severed. But this wasn't the end of their story. Even after the grand royal wedding, he continued to feel a strong connection to her, and their relationship reportedly reignited in the mid-1980s, although the details are still debated. This period was particularly challenging for her, who had to balance her feelings for him with her duties as a wife and mother, all while navigating the tricky relationship with the royal family and the public's love for Diana. In the background of Princes William and Harry's early years, she remained cautious. She knew the situation was complicated and understood the potential fallout. As the marriage between him and Diana began to fall apart publicly in the late 1980s and early 1990s, her role became a hot topic. Things got even more intense in 1992 when Andrew Morton's book, Diana, Her True Story, was published, bringing even more attention to the troubles within the royal marriage. The book, Her True Story, revealed that he was still romantically involved with her. Not long after, the Camilla Gate scandal broke out when a private phone call between him and her was made public, confirming their ongoing affair. This led to a storm of bad press and widespread public anger towards her, who was quickly labeled as the other woman blamed for the problems between him and Diana. The fallout from the scandal was harsh. Camilla was pushed into hiding, constantly chased by reporters, and avoided by much of society. During this chaotic time, her contact with Prince William was rare and tense. William, old enough to understand what was happening, felt torn between his loyalty to his mother, Diana, and his father's continued relationship with her. When both he and Diana publicly admitted their infidelities in separate TV interviews, it only made things worse. Diana's famous comment, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," further cemented her image as the villain in many people's eyes. During these tough years, she chose to stay quiet in public, knowing that anything she said could make things worse. Her main concern was to avoid adding any more stress to William and Harry, who were already in a difficult situation. After Charles and Diana officially divorced, her position within the royal family remained uncertain. They were very careful in handling their relationship, always thinking about how the public felt, and even more importantly, how William and Harry felt. These years were just the beginning of the complex family dynamics that would continue to unfold in the future. Things took a tragic turn in 1997 after Diana and Charles had divorced. Diana was trying to start a new chapter in her life. She had begun a relationship with Egyptian filmmaker Dodi Fayed, which the media followed closely. Even though Diana was trying to move on, her ties to the British royal family, especially with Queen Elizabeth II, remained tense. This tension showed just how hard it was for Diana to find a new identity outside the royal family's world. A tragic night in Paris turns everything upside down. Diana's last night. One night, Diana and Dodi were at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, knowing that photographers were following them. They tried to dodge the paparazzi by sending a decoy car to the hotel's front, while they quietly slipped out the back. But the plan went wrong when their driver, Henri Paul, led the photographers on a high-speed chase through the streets of Paris. This chase ended in tragedy when their car crashed into a concrete pillar in the Pont de Loma tunnel, going twice the speed limit. Henri Paul and Dodi Fayed died instantly, but Diana was still alive, though badly hurt. Witnesses reported hearing her last words, "Oh my God, and leave me alone," right after the crash. Emergency teams arrived quickly, pulling her from the wreck and rushing her to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. Despite hours of surgery, Diana never regained consciousness and was pronounced dead. Her death shocked the world, sparking a huge outpouring of grief and casting a dark shadow over the British royal family. And yet, even in death, Parker Bowles remained a contentious figure in Diana's story. She stepped back from the public eye, understanding the country's deep sadness, and recognizing her delicate position during this difficult time. Prince Charles, deeply moved by the tragedy, focused on supporting his sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, as they faced the heartache of losing their mother. Diana's death brought about a big change, not only affecting her family, but also shifting how the public saw the royal family. The criticism that followed pushed the royal family to address the strong feelings Diana had stirred during her life, which only grew stronger after her passing. So how did she find her way into the royal family? In the years after Diana's death, Charles and she continued their relationship quietly, keeping it out of the spotlight due to the delicate circumstances. Charles was cautious about introducing her to his sons, especially since they were still mourning their mother. At 15 and 12 years old, William and Harry were not only grieving, but also trying to understand their father's ongoing relationship with her, which had been controversial during their parents' marriage. Bringing her into the family required a careful, step-by-step approach. Charles, aware of both his son's feelings and how the public might react, arranged informal meetings for William and Harry to slowly get to know her in a relaxed setting. These early meetings were kept private to handle the complicated emotions involved. Over time, Charles and she began to make more public appearances together, gradually showing that their relationship was becoming more accepted. One important moment came in 1999 when they were seen leaving the Ritz Hotel in London after celebrating her sister's birthday. This was one of their first big public outings as a couple. However, public acceptance of her was not guaranteed. Many people who loved Diana were reluctant to accept another woman taking her place in the royal family. Still, Charles and she continued to be seen together more often, and by 2000, a major step was taken when Queen Elizabeth attended a lunch with her, which was seen as a sign of approval. But that wasn't the most challenging part. William's relationship with her was still complicated. As he grew older, he had to balance his loyalty to his late mother with accepting his father's happiness. While he kept a polite but somewhat distant relationship with her, he struggled with these conflicting emotions. By 2003, she had moved into Clarence's house with Charles, showing her more permanent role in his life and, by extension, the royal family. This meant he and Harry would see more of her during visits to their father, marking a new stage in their relationship. After the tragedy, new relationships began to form: unity and controversy. In 2004, a major decision was made when Queen Elizabeth allowed Charles and her to marry, officially recognizing their relationship. This came after long discussions with advisors, religious leaders, and government officials, marking the end of a long and sensitive process. When their engagement was announced in February 2005, the public had mixed feelings. While some were happy for Charles, others found it hard to forget the past controversies linked to Diana's death and her role in the breakup of Charles and Diana's marriage. For him and Harry, who were now 22 and 20 years old, the engagement marked a clear change in their family structure. Despite any personal reservations, both princes publicly supported their father's decision, showing maturity and care for their father's well-being. Acceptance didn't happen overnight. Camilla eventually received a royal title, becoming fully integrated into the royal family, even amid various controversies that shaped public opinion and influenced important decisions within the family, including those involving him. Instead of calling her the Princess of Wales, a title deeply tied to the beloved Princess Diana, she was given the title of Duchess of Cornwall. This decision was made to respect the strong emotions people still had for Diana, as the title Princess of Wales was closely connected to her admired legacy. Choosing not to call her the Princess of Wales was not just about honoring Diana's memory, it was also about helping her find her own place in the royal family and improving her image with the British people. When she married Charles, many people were still upset with her, blaming her for the problems in Charles and Diana's marriage. By using the less familiar title of Duchess of Cornwall, she began to build her own identity in the royal family without direct comparisons to Diana. But the title issues didn't stop there. When Charles became king, it was first suggested that she would be called Princess Consort instead of Queen Consort. This idea was another way to acknowledge public feelings and to make her role different from that of previous queens married to kings. However, experts in royal laws pointed out that she would actually be Queen Consort by law, no matter what she was called when he became king. The title Princess Consort was unheard of in British royal history, and some felt it was needlessly confusing. Over time, she slowly won over the public through her commitment to her duties, her down-to-earth personality, and her strong support for him. There was still some debate about her future title, with some wondering if she would indeed be called Princess Consort as initially planned. However, in February 2022, just before her Platinum Jubilee, Queen Elizabeth II made a significant announcement. She expressed her wish for her to be known as Queen Consort once he became king. This statement settled the ongoing debate about her role, showing a clear shift from the original plan when she married him and reflecting the changing public opinion about her. But this wasn't the only challenge. For him, these changes were likely complicated. As a young man, he had to balance supporting his father's happiness with honoring his mother's memory. The early decision to call her Duchess of Cornwall and the initial plan for her to be Princess Consort might have made it easier for him to gradually accept her place in the family. Yet the Queen's decision to support her as Queen Consort, while perhaps difficult for him on a personal level, also simplified the royal rules. Throughout this ongoing debate over titles, he has maintained a calm and composed public image, focusing on his royal duties and his family. His relationship with her has evolved from initial discomfort following his parents' divorce and his mother's death to a more friendly and respectful relationship as they both got older. However, there is another layer to this dynamic: her strained relationship with his wife, Kate Middleton. Royal ties deepen as tensions rise. The royal rifts exposed. The tension between her and Kate reportedly began when Kate married him in 2011. At first, she doubted whether Kate was right for royal life, and as Kate became more popular, jealousy appeared to make their relationship tense. A memorable example of this tension was seen during his coronation on May 6th. Royal biographer Tom Bower noted that Kate did not bow or curtsy to her as she and he left Westminster Abbey. This was seen as a deliberate response to some of her recent actions, including her decision to invite Rose Hanbury, the Marchioness of Cholmondeley, to the coronation. But this wasn't the end of it. Rose had been at the center of rumors in 2019, suggesting she had an affair with him, which had caused strain in his marriage to Kate. For Kate, her invitation to Rose seemed like a targeted move to unsettle her, deepening the ongoing conflict between Kate and her. She felt like she was being overshadowed by Kate's rising popularity within the royal family. While the public saw Kate as calm and dignified, those who know her well say she stands her ground firmly amid the complicated palace dynamics. Throughout all of this, she has relied heavily on her sister, Annabel Elliot, for support. Annabel, born in 1949, has always been a strong presence in her life, sharing not just common interests but also offering emotional support during times when she faced intense public scrutiny and navigated her new role in the royal family. Her early life was far from the royal circles she would eventually join, and this greatly shaped the way the public perceived her. When her relationship with him became public, many were quick to note her non-aristocratic background, causing a stir. This was made even more complicated by the public's enduring affection for Princess Diana, whose tragic death left a deep mark on the royal family, especially on him. As she and he grew closer and eventually married in 2005, tensions between her and him became more obvious. Many people still saw her through the lens of her role in the breakup of his marriage to Diana, which created a lingering tension, especially between her and him. Things took a more public turn when he decided to remove her sister, Annabel Elliot, from her job as chief interior designer of the Duchy of Cornwall. For years, this role, which was tied to the property traditionally managed by the Prince of Wales, had been held by Annabel without much public attention. At 75, Annabel had been seen as benefiting from a special position because of her connection to her. His decision to let her go didn't come as a big surprise to those who understood his views. Recent financial records show that Annabel wasn't paid in 2023 and 2024, confirming that her contract wasn't renewed. The Daily Telegraph reported that this wasn't about her work quality, but part of his broader plan to modernize how the duchy is managed. But that wasn't the only twist. While some favoritism might have ended, it hasn't completely disappeared. He recently appointed a close friend, William Van Cutsem, as a senior advisor to the duchy. The Van Cutsem family is no stranger to royal circles. The elder Van Cutsem was a close friend and neighbor to him. The younger Van Cutsem, with a strong background in property and investment, is also deeply connected to the royal family. He's a godfather to Prince George and a childhood friend of him. People who know the royal family well weren't surprised by his decision to part ways with Annabelle. He has always maintained a distance from the Parker Bowles family, which includes her children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes. In fact, it's best not to mention Tom to him. He reportedly feels uneasy about Tom's past, especially his admission of using cocaine in 1999, a story that an undercover reporter exposed. This incident only added more strain to their already delicate relationship. What do you think about the ongoing favoritism within the royal family? Like, comment, and subscribe for more insights on this controversial topic.